Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Kassandra and I'm going to take you through this yoga class to help you honor the summer solstice. So summer solstice is also the International Day of Yoga, so a very fitting time to be getting on your mat. And the themes associated with the summer solstice are celebration, gratitude, abundance, and really tapping into your own heart fire, your own inner fire. Summer solstice is also the halfway point of the year, so this is a good time to really kind of take a look back at the past 6 months and see how this year has been going for you, what it is that you're proud of, what it is that you want to celebrate and recognize and honor, and then how do you want to use your own inner fire, this own vibrancy that we experience in the summertime. How do you want to use that to fuel you over the next 6 months? So how can you best stoke your inner fire? And also really asking yourself, how can you best shine your light? So this is a practice in gratitude of the power of the sun that keeps us all alive. And it's also a practice in gratitude of our own inner heart fire and our own inner light. So this will be a pretty well-rounded yoga practice. We're going to start with some pranayama, so a little bit of breath work before moving into our yoga poses and our flow. A lot of it is going to be concentrated on this manipura chakra, so really working on the solar plexus, strengthening poses, twists, that kind of stuff. Of course, having some sun salutations is always great to celebrate the summer solstice. And at the end, I am going to chant a little bit, so I'll invite you to chant Gayatri mantra with me. You'll notice I have one strap here. I'm going to use it right at the beginning for some leg stretches and twists. If you don't have a strap at home, you can always just use a belt or like a physiotherapy TheraBand, but honestly, you don't need it. You can just use your arms. So don't worry if you don't have one. And before we use it, we are going to begin with some pranayama. So we're going to do Surya bedhana pranayama. So this is a one nostril breath, meaning we're only going to be inhaling from the right nostril. The right nostril represents the solar channel. So this is meant to be a warming and energizing breath for vibrancy. And we're going to be exhaling through the left being the lunar channel. So in order to practice this, we're going to do 18 rounds of it. You can just sit in any way that is comfortable to you. And I'm using my right hand. I like to bend the index and middle finger in, and I'm going to use my right ring finger to kind of just block the left nostril. There are two ways of doing this breath technique. Sometimes it involves the bandhas and involves breath retention, and sometimes it does not. We are not going to be doing breath retention. We're just going to inhale and exhale and keep that circular and fluid. So this means I'm going to seal off the left nostril with my right hand. I'm going to exhale fully, just letting all of the air out. And then we're going to inhale through the right nostril, maybe counting up to 4 or 5. And then you can seal the right and exhale out of the left. And we're not holding the breath, so we're just right away after you exhale fully, you're going to seal the left and once more inhale through the right, exhale through the left. And just keep that circular motion going. So always inhaling from the right, always exhaling from the left. And we're going to do 18 rounds. We're working with factors of 3 and 9 for the summer solstice. So clear all of the air out. You can close your eyes. Exhale fully. And when you're ready, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going on your own. Activating that right solar channel, Cultivating this power of the sun. Try to relax your shoulders, your facial muscles, getting the inhales to be just as long as the exhales. In through the right, out through the left. Three more. And come back to a neutral breath rhythm. When you finish off here, close your eyes, staying present to your experience, feeling the effects of this pranayama, surya bedhana. This is a great breathing technique to do in the morning, to do when you're feeling sluggish or just need a little bit more vitality and vibrancy, a little bit more warmth and activation. And before we get into our physical embodied practice, just ask yourself for this first time, how can you best shine your light? And how can you stoke your inner fire? And maybe a lot comes to you, maybe nothing. We'll really kind of work those two prompts as we flow to see if we can get a little bit more clarity around it. So how can you best shine your light? How can you stoke your inner fire? And opening the eyes, let's go ahead and come all the way down onto your back. Just have your strap close by. If you're working with one, we're just going to pull our knees in towards the belly. And finding that first little activation through the midline, you can just bring your hands over the tops of your knees. We're going to inhale to straighten our arms as we move the knees away from us, and then exhale, just bringing them in. So it's like a very slight pumping motion. Inhale and exhale, all in and out through the nose. And this is an opportunity to check in with your lower back, just to see how your body is feeling today. And you can make this a little bit more of a circular motion instead of straight up and down. Still breathing as you go up and straighten your arms, and exhaling as you bend the elbows and bring the knees in. And you can find 3 circles over to the other side. Keeping head and shoulders on the mat. Really try to focus this and feel this happening through your lower abdominals. And coming back through to center, grab a hold of your strap and you can loop it around the ball of your right foot. If you're not working with a strap, you can just straighten your leg and just grab a hold of whatever you can at the back of the thigh or the front of the back of the shin, at your calf. And I'm really flexing my foot here, reaching out through my heel, lightly pulling that leg in. And I'm dealing with some very tight hamstrings this week. So you can always bend a little bit through your knee. Don't worry about how far you're going. And if you'd like, you can straighten your left leg out, reaching out through your left heel. And even though I want this to be a warming and still activating practice where we're tapping into our own inner fire, I also want to make sure that we don't overheat. So we'll have a nice balance between strengthening poses and more relaxing ones. And then opening up that leg over to the right so you can transfer the strap or just hold on to your leg, just dropping it down here. Try to keep your left hip pushing and pressing down on the floor so you're not totally rolling over to one side. Still flexing into your right foot, pushing out into your heel. You do need to engage your left side obliques. So my abs are working here in this pose. If I were to relax my abs, I would fall over. So I want you to still have some engagement and strength here. And then go ahead and lift that leg up through to center, and we're gonna cross and twist it over to the side. I'm just gonna move my hips a little to the right to help my right leg drop over to the left. And you can reach your right arm out to the side, trying to keep your right shoulder blade somewhat pressing to the mat. And you don't have to have your leg all the way down to the floor. Sometimes it's best to keep it hovering. Collarbones are facing up. This is a big leg stretch here. Take one more full deep breath. And we'll lift that leg all the way back up through to center. And then grabbing a hold of whatever you can and whatever you'd like, we're gonna crawl ourselves up the leg, curling head and shoulders off the mat. Pull your lower belly in, push your lower back into the floor, and lift that left leg off the mat. So engaging through the abdominals. Squeeze and lift up a little bit higher. And all you're going to do on the exhale, you're gonna bring that left knee in. And then inhale, straighten it back out. 4 more just like this. Try to relax your shoulders. So when you exhale, pull the left knee in. Inhale, straighten. Keep your lower back pushing into the floor. Keep going. 3 more. Curl up a little bit higher. Try to keep your right leg straight and engaged. Last one, in and out and release back down. Let's switch sides. Right foot comes flat to the floor. Bring the strap around the ball of your left foot as you extend and stretch it out. Totally normal for one side to feel different from the first. See if you can still flex your foot here and maybe slide that right leg straight. You might feel this more in your hamstrings. For me, I feel this the most at the back of my ankle and into my calf. That's where I tend to have a lot of tightness. For some, it might be more at the back of the knee. Really try to breathe into it. Use the power of your breath. And we can open up to the side, so left leg goes to the left. Really squeeze and engage through the right side obliques. So engage your core here to actively push your right thigh and right hip down to the mat. And don't let yourself completely roll over to the side. One more big breath here. And go ahead and lift it all the way back up through to center. I'm just going to move my hips a little bit over to the left to help my left leg lower down towards the right. I'm reaching my left arm out so that my collarbones stay facing up. I'm pushing out into my left heel, reaching out long through my right leg. So big twist here as we compress this area, the solar plexus, manipura chakra. This is our center of determination, our willpower, our inner strength and inner fire. And go ahead and lift all the way back up. And we're going to curl, head and shoulders come off the mat as high as you can here. Draw the lower belly in, push your lower back into the floor, and hover the right leg however is appropriate to you. So I'm about at eye level here. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that right knee in towards your belly, and then inhale, straighten it out. Really engage your abdominals here. Exhale in, inhale out. 3 more. Curl up higher. Last one. And release. You can move the strap out of the way. And we're going to rock up tabletop pose onto hands and knees. And from tabletop, you're going to extend your left leg back behind you and pivot so that you're rolling onto the inner edge of that left foot. Left arm reaches up overhead. Engage through the muscles here as you float that left leg off the mat so you're balancing on your right leg and right knee. And now we're going to tap the left foot down as you bring your left arm up and over, and we're going to do 5 times in and out of these 2 poses. So inhale, lift left leg and left arm. Exhale, tap and stretch. 3 more. Move with control. Starting to build up some heat. Last one. And now hold as you're down, push into your left foot and see if you can pick your right knee up and off the mat. Lifting your hips up into your plank pose, left hand down, right foot steps back. Hold long into your plank, reach the crown of your head forward, draw your lower belly in. Feel that strength. Hug your upper arms towards one another and lower down to your belly. 3 little baby cobras here. Push into the tops of your feet. As you inhale, upper body lifts up. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, hands, chest, head off the mat. Exhale to lower. Inhale, squeeze and lift and hold here. Just reach your arms back behind you. See if you can find a little bit more space, maybe Shalambhasana, your locust pose, as you also lift the legs off the mat. So activating through that posterior chain. Roll the head of the arm bones back so you're not rounding and slouching. Tabletop pose, press back onto hands and knees, same sequence over to the second side. So this time, right leg goes back, roll to the inner edge of your right foot, extend your right arm up to the sky, and when you have your balance, also go ahead and extend and lift that right leg up. So this is our inhale. As you exhale, you're going to tap the right foot down, reach the right arm up and over. And then squeeze and lift back up. Breathe in. 4 more like this. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Last one here. Tap it down. And go ahead and lift it up. And set your right foot down. Right arm is along the ear. Push your right foot into the floor and see if you can lift that left knee and thigh off the mat. So only my left hand and my right foot are pushing into the floor. Into my plank pose, right hand down, left foot steps back. Draw your lower belly in. Really reach your tailbone towards your heels. Try not to drop your head down, so lift the back of your skull up and lower all the way to your belly. 3 little baby cobras. Point and press through your toes. Inhale, upper body lifts. Exhale, down. Twice more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift, hold here. Shalambhasana, your locust pose. Reach your arms back, lift your legs up, roll the head of the arm bones back. Keep the back of your neck long. How can you best shine your light? How can you stoke your inner fire? Instead of going to tabletop pose, let's find downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, our first one. Hands are shoulder width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart. And stretch it all up and back. Make any little movements here that feel good. And in our downward dog, we're gonna stretch along the side of the oblique, so really working that core center. You're gonna lift your heels up, so come up onto your tippy toes, and then drop both heels over to the right. You can bend your right knee and kind of push out into that left hip. I'm gonna come up onto my left fingertips and look underneath my left shoulder and armpit. So a big side body stretch. And lift your heels up. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Drop both heels over towards the left. You can bend your left knee, push into your right hip, lift up onto your right fingertips and start to look underneath your right shoulder. Coming back through to center, lift up. Before we do our sun salutations, let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, tap your knee to your nose, come forward into plank. Inhale, up and back, 3-legged dog, twice more like this. Exhale, come forward, tap knee to nose. Inhale up, last one, knee to nose, shift forward, look past your hands and step the foot through in between your palms. Lower your back knee down to the floor. Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. We're gonna add little cactus, cat and cow from here. So I need you to lengthen your tailbone down, draw your lower belly in. Open up your arms, elbows bent at a 90-degree angle. You're gonna inhale, find a little back bend. And as you exhale, round and contract. As you round here, you're probably gonna feel this even more through your left hip flexors. So inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Really feel this movement coming from your core. Last time, inhale and exhale. Frame your front foot, downward facing dog. Second side, left leg rises. Shift forward, knee to nose. Come forward through to plank. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Twice more, same thing. Exhale through. Inhale up. Tap knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands at the top of the mat. Drop your back knee down to the floor. Make sure you have your left knee on top of your ankle here. And as you lift up, keep your hips under your shoulders. Cactus shape with the arms. Inhale, little back bend. And exhale, round and contract. 3 more. Really contemplating what it is that you are celebrating, what you are grateful for. Frame the front foot, downward facing dog, stretching out here. And we'll step our feet to the top of the mat. Rolling all the way up to stand in Tadasana, your mountain pose. Head and shoulders are the last to make their way up. Palms shine forward, close your eyes. And go ahead and bring your right hand over your belly, left hand over your heart. Feel your heart rate and feel the breath go all the way down into your low belly underneath your right hand. So what are you really proud of this year? How do you want to use this vitality moving forward for the next 6 months? What do you need to be feeling your best? And as I ask these questions, try not to judge the answers that come to you. We're really just trying to be open. This is how we start to listen to our body's wisdom. Before we go and we're going to be doing 9 rounds of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar. Before then, I want to do a few rounds of breath of joy. I hadn't planned to do this, but I feel like it'll feel really good right now. So you can keep your feet about hip width distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. Breath of joy, we're going to do 9 rounds also. It's a 3-part inhale and then 1 big exhale. So you're going to inhale through the nose, up, out, up, and then big exhale through the mouth. So I'll just demonstrate it a few times. It goes just like this. So inhale, 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 out. And let's do that 9 times. And you can kind of bounce with your knees, really get that energy flowing. So whenever you're ready, let's go. 6 more. Three more. Last one. And lifting up, release. 9 rounds of sun salutation. Inhale, arms rise, palms together. Exhale, fold forward and down. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms. I'm just going to be stepping back, lower chaturanga. Exhale, you can do cobra or your upward facing dog. And we all meet downward facing dog. Take a big full inhale here. And on the exhale, you can step or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale to fold. Press to stand, inhale. Exhale, hands at the heart. 8 more, inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plank and lower, all on that same out breath. Inhale to the back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold for a breath in. And as you exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold. Press to stand. And release. Inhale. Flow down. Halfway lift. Step it back and lower. Maybe chaturanga this time. Cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Downward dog. Breathe in. Exhale, step or hop. Halfway lift. And fold. Come all the way up. 6 more. Inhale. Fold. Exhale. Halfway lift. Step back and down. Inhale. Exhale. Downward dog. Inhale. Hold. Exhale, step or hop. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come on up. And release. Another. We meet at the top of the mat. Press to stand. Keep going. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold down. Halfway lift. Move through your vinyasa. One breath per movement. Make it move from your core, from the power of the midline. Lifting up. 3 more. I'll let you do this silently at your own rhythm. Last one, we'll meet in mountain pose when you're done. And release. Take a moment here just to center yourself. Closing your eyes, slowing down your breath rhythm. And let's just step into Virabhadrasana 2, your warrior 2. So you can keep the right leg forward, step the left foot back. My left foot is roughly parallel to the shorter edge of my mat. I'm bending into my front knee, opening it up. Palms facing down. Making sure that my left shoulder is pushing back, staying over the hip, really opening my chest. This warrior pose. A really great pose for strength, for courage, for stability. A great pose for endurance. So how do we want to not only cultivate the inner fire, but really maintain the discipline that is needed to keep that fire blazing? This fire of the heart, this inner light of hope and of joy. What do you need to sustain it? And you can reverse, left hand down, right arm up, big side body stretch. So really working those obliques again. And we're gonna frame the front foot with both hands, so you can just windmill those palms down. Lift the back heel off the mat, find a twist from here. So left palm is down, right hand goes up, stacking the right shoulder over the left. And maybe you stay here, or you can transition into Vashisthasana, your side plank pose. Right leg stacks on top of the left. Pushing the feet into the floor to lift your hips up even higher. We're coming into our forearm plank, right forearm down to the mat. Left forearm joins it, dolphin pose. Walk your feet in, lift your hips up. Try to push your chest through towards your thighs. Keep the crown of your head lifted off of the floor. One more deep belly breath. Bring your knees down to the mat and lift your upper body, coming into camel pose. Any variation, you can support your lower back, pushing your pelvis forward, leaning your upper body back, not causing any pain or tension through the lower back here. Really focus on the upper body. And lifting back up, downward facing dog. You can take a vinyasa if you'd like, or you can leave it out. Really honor your body and your current energy levels. We all make our way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale to fold. Press to stand. And release. Let's find Virabhadrasana 2 on the second side. So this time your left leg stays forward, right foot and leg moves back. See if you can get that left thigh roughly parallel. And as you open, really notice this tendency of the right hip and the right shoulder to end up kind of in a diagonal. As much as possible, try to keep yourself facing the long edge of the mat. You'll need to work even harder to keep that left knee pushing out. Gazing forward. Find your strong, solid foundation. Using this pose for stability, for endurance. And let's reverse, right hand down, left arm up, big side body stretch. And we'll frame the front foot so both hands come down into your easy twist. Lift the back knee off the mat. Make sure your right hand is directly underneath your shoulder before reaching that left arm up. And maybe you choose to just hold this pose a little longer, or you transition into Vashisthasana, your side plank. Looking wherever helps you keep your balance. Trying to really push and lift our hips up. Trying not to let that left hip bone rotate back. Keep it forward. It does make it a little bit harder. Into your forearm plank, just so we can transition into dolphin. So as soon as your forearms are down on the mat, walk your feet in, lift your hips up, and then push your chest through. Big deep breath here in the pose. And bring your knees down to the floor. Instead of doing the traditional variation of camel, I'll do something a little bit different. So this time with my toes pointing back, I'm letting my hips come down. I'm gonna bring my fingertips back behind me and then just lifting the hips up. So more of a thigh stretch in this pose as opposed to a back bend. And release, downward dog. This is your last opportunity to take a vinyasa. We'll start to cool things down. So final flow here. And one last time, we'll meet at the top of the mat, halfway lift. And fold, press to stand. And release. Let's find our wide-legged forward fold from here. So you can step out, get both feet this time parallel to the shorter edges of your mat. Inhale to lift and lengthen, and all this space that you're creating through the spine, I want you to keep it even as you hinge from the hips. Try not to push your hips back and let all of your weight go into your heels. Keep some of that weight forward so that if someone was going to look at you from this side, you'd pretty much have your ankles, your knees, and your hips all in that same line rather than having your hips leaning super far back. Just for this variation. There are other variations of this pose where we do rock our weight back, and we'll do that in a second. But for now, keep the weight in the balls of your feet and just see how this pose feels through the back of the legs. Relax your head, really decompress. And let's take a cleansing, cooling breath here, in through the nose, big sigh out the mouth. Letting go of the first half of the year and opening ourselves up to something new. You can lift your chest up about halfway just so you have some space, and we'll do what's called a functional forward fold. This is not from yoga, it's from foundation training. So you can walk your hands, crawl the fingertips out as far as possible so you're up on your fingertips, and then as if someone was pulling back on your hips, I want you to lean your hips back as far forward as they can go. So much so that the balls of your feet almost start to lift off the mat, and your fingers are stretching as far out as they possibly can. Unlock your knees, bend into your knees here. So as if someone was pulling forward on your wrists and someone else was pulling back on your hips. Really free up your low back. This is an amazing pose for your lower back. Push down into your heels. Think of squeezing them in towards the midline. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And come back through to center. Walk toe heel your feet in. Malasana, your yogi squat. So about hip width distance apart, heels in, toes out, lower down. Use your elbows to push your knees open, hands at the heart. Anjali Mudra. And really letting go of all effort. You can just plop yourself down. We'll do a pose. It's kind of like half deer pose and half head to knee. So you can have your right leg extended out to the side, the same way we normally fold forward. If you know you have knee issues, just do the regular head to knee pose with your left foot towards the inner thigh and doing a passive forward fold from here. If you want to work a little bit more on that inner thigh stretch, you're going to bring that left leg back behind you. So my leg is in my deer pose shape, a 90-degree angle. You can even bring that heel in if that's more comfortable. So already I'm feeling this a lot more through the left side, but I'm going to fold over towards my right leg the same way I normally would. So choosing the variation that's appropriate to you. And I'm making this more of a yin style passive fold. So I'm letting my spine round. I'm letting myself melt into this shape. My right knee is bending a little, totally fine. Just really melting into this one and letting gravity do the work for me. Slow, steady breaths. And as we near the end of our practice, this is again when you're asking yourself, how can you best stoke your inner fire? What do you need to be able to shine your light at its fullest? What are you grateful for on this summer solstice? What is your current relationship with vitality and vibrancy? And we can start walking our hands back as we lift on up. And we'll go and do the same thing to the other side. So bend that right leg and stretch that left leg out to the side. And maybe again, you're just going to do this variation Or if you'd like, you do a half deer pose by bringing your right foot back behind you. If there's any kind of pain in your knee, please don't do this one. It's not worth it. And folding down. Not forcing your way down, really making this as gentle as possible. Less is more. We're not trying to make anything happen. Relax your shoulders, your neck, your head. And go ahead and lift yourself up. And from here, we'll do another breathing technique. This time we'll do sitali pranayama. This is a cooling breath. So when you feel like you're overheating, middle of the summer, or if you're just too stimulated, too active, this is a good one to ground you, to cool you down. If you're feeling a little angry at times, this can be a nice one. So we'll do that, and then we'll have a few other poses, shavasana, and then we'll chant gayatri together. So sitali, two different ways. If you're able to do a little tunnel with your tongue like this, then that's what you're going to do. If your tongue doesn't do that, you're just going to make a tiny little straw shape with your lips, as if you were sipping from a straw. And that's all we're going to do 9 times. We're going to inhale and exhale through this imaginary straw, whether you're making that straw with your tongue or just with your lips. So relaxing down, and whenever you're ready, I can't talk while I do this. Three more. And release. And let's lower down onto our backs. Before we come to shavasana, we're just going to do a little laying spinal twist with our knees bent. So you can move your hips to the right and drop both legs over to the left. You can reach your right arm out to the side, either keeping your right thigh just resting over the left, or you can do more of a Garudasana eagle pose variation, where you're wrapping your right thigh over. This will intensify the stretch that you feel through your lower back. And also through the right shoulder and pectorals. I really want you to extend through that arm so that you're getting a nice opening here, as if you could create more space in your right lung. It's not really what's happening, but that's what I want you to really visualize. 3 more breaths here. And we'll lift up, uncross the legs, and shift to twist the other side so your hips can move to the left. Legs and knees drop right. Any variation here. And go ahead and float back up. And we'll take shavasana about 4-ish minutes or so here. A full deep rest and relaxation. And once we lift up and end, we'll chant gayatri mantra together. But for now, really let yourself, imagine you were basking in the sun right now, feeling those beautiful sun rays, purifying and energizing you. And maybe one last time, asking yourself these questions about how you can shine your light, how you can stoke your inner fire, what you're grateful for, what you want to celebrate at this time of the solstice. Let's reawaken. Move slowly. Breathing vitality back through your body. A little bit of movement to wake yourself up. You can stretch it out, reaching your arms up overhead. And we'll turn to one side so you can push yourself up to come into a seated position. Sitting any way that is comfortable to you, so that together we can chant Gayatri mantra. Gayatri is my favorite mantra. I don't chant a lot on YouTube because it's very vulnerable to do that. I don't love the sound of my voice, so bear with me. So I'll post the translation of this mantra. There's a particular one that I like by Douglas Brooks in the description of the video, and you should be able to see the words of the mantra here on the screen. But really the key teaching, I think if I had to distill one thing from the Gayatri mantra, it's the line in the translation where he says, "May the sun illuminate our minds." That's what I think of when I think of Gayatri. And when we're talking about the sun, it's not only the physical sun which sustains life on this planet, it's also the sun in the sense of the light of pure consciousness. So may we be enlightened, may we be illuminated by pure consciousness and guided towards right action, right? So it's, may we really feel that divine light within us as we move through our day and move in the world. So let's begin. Whenever you're ready, you can just listen, or of course you can tune in and chant along with me. We're going to do it 9 times. There are different melodies to it. I'm going to do the one that I like, that I learned from my teacher, Sienna Sherman. Clearing out. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. 3 more. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yo na prachodayat. Hands together, bowing forward. Thank you so very much for doing this summer solstice practice with me. I would love to know what you thought of this one. Would you like more classes with chanting? Forgive my voice, but it is such a powerful tool that we have at our disposal. I hope you also enjoyed all the breathwork, the pranayama, and of course, the yoga flow that we did. So happy summer solstice, happy International Day of Yoga. It's also my wedding anniversary. We got married on the 22nd of June. So lots of celebration all around. Oh, and it's also, I'm going to plug it. I never do this, but I'm going to do it. It's also now the 1-year anniversary of my book, Year of Yoga. So we launched this book this time last year. It came out on the summer solstice in 2022. And now here we are in 2023. So I'll post a link to that if you'd like to learn more. But yeah, let me know what you thought, how this went for you. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. Please do subscribe to my channel and hopefully you'll be practicing with me very soon.